Ladies and gentlemen, and boys and girls, from Lima Shenanigans of 1977, it's Tuesday, and you know what that means. It's time for the NXT Event Center Wrestling Report. And now here's the man that will bring you all the wrestling happenings from the WWE Superstars of tomorrow, Eric M. Lima.
Thank you very much, Mr. Announcer, sir. Well, hello there, everyone. Welcome to yet another episode of Lima Shenanigans in 1977. Episode 2575 of the show, and this is the NXT after No Mercy, the fallout of No Mercy, ladies and gentlemen, and this is going to be a huge deal because finally the two factions, the two organizations, the two brands, NXT and TNA, are coming to a head, and next week at the NXT TNA event, everything's going to happen. I'll explain why I did not mention the name in just a moment. So, anyway, new NXT champion Ricky Saints kicks off NXT, and then JC Jane interrupts Ricky Saints and says, hey, we got bigger problems, we got TNA. And then Ava Rain comes out. Ava says, hey, we're actually agree on something. So you two are the team captains of the men's and women's team. It'll be Survivor Series eliminations, and it looks like it's going to be eight woman and 8-man teams there of 10-man. So, and so then Tina Morella interrupts them, and then interrupts Ava, along with JC Jane and Ricky Saints, and said, I don't trust Trick Williams, so I'm picking Mike Santana as my captain for the men's team for TNA. And then, Santina Morella decided to choose Kaylani Jordan, the new TNA Knockouts champion. And even though she's TNA, even though she's an NXT wrestler, she decided to take on the responsibilities of a TNA Knockouts champion. So, which is pretty funny. So, but then Santina Morella says, let's not call this an invasion. Let's call this a showdown instead. And so hence, the reason why they decided to change the name from invasion to showdown, because the date is October the 7th, which 1 year ago, we know what happened between Israel and Hamas. I'm not going to get into politics of that. And the officials in Israel were very upset at the WWE for the invasion name being on the date of October the 7th. I think, I think when the WWE officials even found this out, and they all thought in the back of their minds, let's use an old pay-per-view name that was back in 2001, because I think the officials in Israel are not wrestling fans, so they don't know their wrestling history, unfortunately. So, and if they do, they would understand why it would have been called invasion. But understandably so, a lot of people say, "Oh, it's soft. The WWE is soft. They're going to change the name because everybody complains." Guys, try to be sensitive here, okay? Listen, I don't like it either, but there's other pay-per-view names out there that have not been used in quite a while. Could be, Battleground's recently been used, but they've already, that would have been a great name for it. But Bragging Rights was right there. I mean, you think about it. When Bragging Rights first formed was Raw versus SmackDown. Think about it. Bragging Rights should be the name for like a PLE for a special event, like when NXT and TNA come together. Bragging Rights. That's what it should be. Bragging Rights. That's what the name. It's like, I'm surprised nobody even thought about that. You said, okay, we can't call it an invasion. What can we call it? I would have been if I was on that board. If I looked at Shawn Michaels and Triple H, I said, dude, Bragging Rights is right there. And they probably go, oh yeah, bragging rights. Why did they could have called it Bragging Rights, but they never used Showdown before, so yeah, why not? In Showdown, it's a lot of fun because I think this is only the second time a former tic-tac-toe category is used for a wrestling pay-per-view or PLE event. You think about it. AEW's got Double or Nothing. Was a category on tic-tac-toe. And Showdown was also a category on tic-tac-toe. Wow. You know? The irony. I wonder if somebody has been a tic-tac-toe fan in wrestling. Somebody has to. You know? You never know. Anyways. People are like, Eric, you're crazy, man. Anyways, yeah, so they decided to change the name to NXT Showdown. It's a showdown. It's not, you know, got me here, Showdown. And somebody ought to wear a cowboy hat and boots. And bring Billy Gunn back. Get the smoking guns back together. What we have here, Billy, is a showdown. I know, NXT, TNA. I've been in TNA. I don't know. I don't know why, but anyways, so there's that. So Ricky Saints and JC Jane, Kehlani Jordan, and Mike Santana were sent out to go find their team. And at the end of the night, they'll show us where their teams are. Remember, it's just it's going to be Survivor Series rules, okay? Which is, it's about time we bring back the Survivor Series rules. Well, these 8-man teams, it'd be great. You know, it's too bad that you can't AEW didn't want to collaborate with them, or New Japan or CMLL didn't want to, because could you imagine if I had every company conglomerate or collaborate, I would try to say, okay, let's do this differently. Instead of brand versus brand, how about country versus country? How about the Survivor Series World Cup? Like I said, I already got my Team Australia picked from the ladies. Rhea Ripley's team captain. You put the Inspiration, a.k.a. the Iconics. You could put Timeless Tony Storm and Harley Cameron. I got, that. And also, you can have a backup Team Australia. You can bring Tennille Dashwood out of retirement. Have her captain the team. Indy Hartwell. And Zarya could be part of that team as well. I'm thinking of, 2 more ladies from Australia. It's a tough call to make. Have them as backup. Oh, wait a minute. Yeah, who did I pick? Who did I pick? Rhea Ripley, the Inspiration, Tony Storm, Harley Cameron. And then you get Indy Hartwell, Tennille Dashwood, Zarya to back them up. If anyone goes down, you can have an alternative. I forget who was from Australia. Which females are from Australia that wrestled? Steph DeLander. That's number 4. I need one more. I need one more. Let me check something here. Hold on. Okay. I thought she was from Australia at first. Yeah, Tennille Dashwood, Indy Hartwell, Zarya, Steph DeLander. We need one more. Hold up. My mind's going a mile long, which I don't care. Okay, come on. Talk to me here. Come on. This phone. Everything about it. Come on. Like I said, the Wi-Fi's been on. Oh, here we go. Yeah. Oh, okay. Okay. I didn't know Nia Jax was Australian. Oh boy. Yeah, I believe. Uh, let's see. Give me a second here. I think Shazza McKenzie is the only one. Yeah, Shazza McKenzie. That'll round out your team. I'm sorry, folks. It's been a rough day for me. It's been a very, very rough day for me. You got to bear with me here. It's been crap. It's been crap on here. I mean, I had a good day at work. Is just that today. Online has been totally nuts. Holy mackerel. Anywho, let's continue on for NXT, shall we? I do apologize for this, folks. So, anyways, Javon Evans was in the back, and he's hanging around a bit, and he sees Leon Slater. And they're chatting about Bound for Glory. They're looking forward to. And this is going to be a dream matchup. It's what the youngest dream matchup. Two of the youngest wrestlers on either roster. You know what I mean? You had one of the youngest wrestlers in NXT, the youngest in TNA right now. It's really exciting to see what's going to happen between Leon Slater and Javon Evans. But then the culling interrupts them, and Sean Spears trying to stir up crap. He said, you know what, why don't you prove to us in a tag match? So they challenge him, and then all of a sudden, Javon Evans and Leon Slater says, we're down with that. I'm like, holy crap. If they're gonna have a dream match against each other bound for glory, imagine what they can do as a tag team. So it's like, I'm already looking at what Leon Slater's been doing and Javon Evans. I see this. If they decide to join forces, think about it. Leon Slater's from England, and you have Javon Evans from the States, obviously. You probably get your new version of the Allied Powers. It's like you get the Allied Powers combined with the Hardys and the Rockers. Imagine, you have the skill of the Hardys and the Rockers, and you're like the Allied Powers, But they're not, they're not like muscle bound, strong as Lex Luger, the Hall of Famer, two Hall of Famers, Lex Luger and the British Bulldog, mind you. But these guys are flying all over the ring, and everybody can't wait to see these two lock up at Bound for Glory. Now they're going to lock up against the Culling against the Culling at tonight's matchup. Then Lyra Valkyria stopped by and said, "Hey, I got something for you," and gives her a doll of Lyra Valkyria. And I got a feeling that Tatum Paxton is going to be out with the Culling because she's still infatuated with Lyra Valkyria. And I think the way Bailey's been going, I think Lyra Valkyria knows she needed a true friend, and I'm sure Tatum Paxley would be there for her. So I always called her my dove, and it's so funny. It was so adorable. Anyways, so Jada Parker against Lash Legend 2, battle of two of the most athletic ladies on the NXT roster, and heck of a matchup. Miss Parker ended up winning that matchup, and Saints was congratulated in the locker room, and then Trick Williams interrupts him and found out that, I'll be your co-captain, and all of a sudden Ricky Saints goes, yeah, fine, and then Ricky Saints, I'll choose Miles Bourne, but Trick Williams says, I want Josh Briggs. Says, I'll tell you what, these two can go at it. Whoever wins takes a spot. Fine with that. So Ethan Page comes out and addresses the Orlando crowd by being the greatest North American champion after he conquered Tavion Heights. A car pulled up in the PC, and a pair of feet walked out. He said he thought it was El Hijo del Wagner Jr. or Dr. Wagner III, basically, but it wasn't either one. It wasn't him. It was none other than Mustafa Ali, who is now challenging for Showdown for the North American title. He said, I had a shot for the North American title, but I got a phone call saying that I'm done. So it seems like Mustafa Ali is finally getting the shot at the title that he should have had 2 years ago, back in 2023. So this is a great storyline of redemption for Mustafa Ali should he knock off Ethan Page next week. But then Page brawls with Ali, and Ali brawls with Page, and Ali stands tall, and Ethan Page escapes with his championship. Well, JC Jane addresses the women's locker room and chose Sol Ruka. And it seems like Zarya wanted to talk to her. What is she talking about? I think Zarya is probably none too happy with the fact that Sol Ruka got picked and not her. I sense some tension between Zaruka, and believe me, Team Zaruka could end up. I'm going to see Zarya challenge Sol Ruka for the women's North American title if everything goes down. You know what? I got a hunch that's going to happen. And at the next pay-per-view, possibly Halloween Havoc, it could be that matchup. And if they make it too personal, it could end up being a casket match. Who knows? Meanwhile, the Hardys addressed Dark State, and they said that they're going to try to capture the one pair of tag team titles they never captured in WWE, the NXT Tag Team Championship. Both tag team titles are on the line in next week's matchup. Winner take all. If the Hardys walk out NXT Tag Team Champions, will they put those titles on the line against Team 3D? Imagine that the Dudley Boys beat the Hardys. They'll go in as 26th-time World Tag Team Champions. You think about it. The Dudleys, aka Team 3D, will have the TNA Tag Team titles and the NXT Tag Team titles. Imagine that. If I were Dark State, I'd better give them on a battle plan. And then Miles Bourne went one-on-one with Josh Briggs for a spot at the Survivor Series Showdown. And and when Josh Briggs went to go use his chain to knock out Miles Bourne, Matt Cardona stopped him, which for some weird reason. Will we see Matt Cardona go one-on-one with Josh Briggs? Who knows? And Miles Bourne picked up the Duke, and he will be joining Trick Williams and Trick Williams and Ricky Saints, and Javon Evans was also chosen. So we'll see what happens there. Then Keilani Jordan was talking to Jordan Grace. And Jordan Grace knows about TNA more than anything, and possibly wanted to join TNA. But Keilani Jordan, I don't know where you stand because you've been in you're in both companies, like Joe Hendry. And Joe Hendry, she mentioned Joe Hendry. Joe Hendry came out and explained himself, and then Mike Santana interrupts them. He said, "I don't know where you stand too." So it's like Jordan Grace and Joe Hendry talking to each other. We got to get on the card somehow. Here's an idea. Here's a great idea, because why don't we get Steph DeLander and Mance Warner to face Joe Hendry and Jordan Grace? Problem solved. That's what I would say. Anyways, then Lola Vice went one-on-one with Fallon Henley, and Vice ended up winning the matchup despite the fact that JC Jane got involved. And so Lola Vice will be garnering a spot in the Women's Survivor Series elimination matchup against Team TNA. Meanwhile, Dark State responds to the Hardys. It seems like they're determined to walk away TNA World Tag Team Champions. If they do that, you could have two sets of champions. You have the whole stable defending. If you got Deion Lennox and Osiris Griffin being the NXT Tag Team Champions, why not have Cutler James and Shaquan Sugars taking care of the TNA Tag Team title situation should Dark State walk out with the belts? Be very interesting to see how that develops. Then JC Jane does console Henley. Says, "Hey, don't worry. Listen, it's my fault. This one's on me. Don't worry about it. Lola's part of the team and all that." But then Laney Reed came up and said, "I wouldn't worry about it and all that." Said, "What do you mean?" And then she hands him the mask. Was Laney Reed all along that attacked Lola Vice? I knew it. I said, we had a feeling. I thought it would be somebody that we hadn't seen in a while in NXT, but it was. I had a feeling Laney Reed is the prime suspect because she's got good rapport for JC Jane. And now Jasmine Nick's out. I think Laney Reed and Fallon Henley should make a great tag team. I know Laney Reed's a Southern Belle. You got Fallon Henley being the cowgirl and all. Why the heck not, right? Why the heck not? All right, then. We got, like I said, the awesome team of Javon Evans and Leon Slater. I liken them. It's like, country-wise, they remind me of the Allied Powers. Skills-wise, Rockers and the Hardys. It's like you mix them all up. Boom, you get Leon Slater, the X Division champ, and Javon Evans. They went up against the Culling. These two guys, I'll tell you what, too bad Leon Slater signed with TNA. Because if he ever signed with the WWE, him and Javon Evans could light up the tag team scene. I can see them, go up against, if New Day keeps running their mouth, tag team, all of a sudden Leon Slater and Javon Evans on the same team, let's go. I would love to see it. So, they went up against the Culling, Sean Spears, Mr. Perfect 10. Oh, by the way, I wonder how this is developed. I think Matthew Raywald came up with a great point, and he tweeted on this on X. If I see Mackenzie Mitchell and Vic Joseph do a Romeo and Juliet thing, I'm going to hurl or something like that. What about Sean Spears and Cassie Lee? Mr. Raywald? Huh? You worried about Vic Joseph and Mackenzie Mitchell? What? You know what? I want to tweet him that. I want to see what he has to say on that. I'll do that when I'm done here. I gotta do that when I'm done here. Well, and Slater and Evans ended up winning the matchup after Tina Paxton was sitting on the announce table, and Izzy Dane was not very happy about it and all. And then afterwards, they were celebrating. They saw the two teams, the two contingents in the parking lot converging and arguing about a parking lot brawl was about to break out. But then I think Ava and Santino says, "Get inside. We're dealing with this." So they had to summit, and so Mike Santana chose Frankie Kazarian, Moose, and Leon Slater, and Ricky Saints chose Trick Williams, Javon Evans, and Miles Bourne. So we might see a preview of Bound for Glory between Evans and Slater. We want on the women's side, JC Jane chose Sol Ruka, Jada Parker, and Lola Vice. That's a heck of a team for Team NXT on the women's side. Jordan chooses the Inspiration and Mara Sade. She almost said Jakara Jackson. Like, botch. So Mara Sade, and then everybody started fighting all over the place. And Shawn Michaels was coming out with this big grin on his face. It's so like if all the other teams were brawling during the Attitude Era and DX was there, just, and you see Shawn Michaels smiling like a total little goofball kid. And he starts goofing around. I think we see that a little bit of DX version of Shawn Michaels. He's like, he probably loves it, he should have his own crew, like, ready, wrestlers ready to support, and then like smirks on their faces. Who should we bludgeon, or something like that? I don't know. But it's a crazy event next week. Showdown, not Invasion. Showdown. It's going to be interesting for sure. Well, that's it for today's episode of Eric Lima Shenanigans, 1977, episode 2575, NXT Event Center for September 30th, 2025. The final day of September. We're going in October, folks. We're going to the fall, ladies and gentlemen. The fall. So, yeah. We're going to have some fun. All right, so that's it. That's all there is to it. And tomorrow we got the Joker's Wild. We pull on that one-arm bandit against the Rotten Devil. See if I can come up with a natural triple. Yo soy natural triple. And hopefully going back to that Joker's Wild restaurant. If not, that's okay. I'm going to try to beat the devil. And that's very important. Beat the devil, not just in the game show, but in life. In life, the devil will try to do whatever it takes to stand in your way. And you say, get out, devil. I'm living my life for the Lord. Amen to that. So, also, Evolve Dynamite. So, 6th anniversary of Dynamite. And Toni Storm's making her return to Hollywood, Florida. So it'll be a lot of fun there and see how she's feeling after losing the title to Chris Statlander. We'll be teaming up with Darby Allin against Maria Shafir and Wheeler Yuta. And Wheeler Yuta, Shaggy. Crackhead Shaggy. That's Wheeler Yuta. Needs a haircut and a shave. Somebody get the chloroform. Go to sleep, Wheeler. Okay. Bring the barber's chair in. Put him in the barber's chair. You got any razors? You got electric razors? I'm gonna cut this boy's hair, and I'm gonna shave his beard. And go, hey, look, baldy, and put a and then after you shave his head bald, draw a line in the middle of your head so it looks like a butt. Okay, so that's on the menu for tomorrow. Hopefully the internet will not go wonky on me again, and hopefully everything will be copacetic. So, and I will address what happened today as a topic on Rant and Rave this Thursday. Because I'm sure everybody else will be present, and I'm going to address it. I'm going to address it. In turkeys. Anyways, I'll see you guys later. You guys have a wonderful, blessed night. Have a good night, everybody. And until next episode comes rolling around, Mr. Announcer, take us home.
That is all for today's episode of the show. This is Mr. Announcer speaking for Eric Lima Shenanigans of 1977. A Big Beefy E and door for Bob Saget production, and in association with a Raving Bull for 3000 Telepictures and Distribution. Thank you for watching another episode of Eric Lima Shenanigans of 1977. See you later on the next episode of the show. Goodbye for now.